Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Swimmer Monday Motivation Show. I'm your host, Josh Davis, along with my co-host, Noah, the genius Yanchulis. We are back after a 3-month break. So much has happened in the last 3 months, but it's so good to be back, Noah.
It's awesome. No, I'm glad that we're picking it back up. We've had a really productive, last 3 months, and so is most of the swimming world. So yeah, we're excited to be back and recapping some good stuff here.
Well, thank you guys for your patience. And we had many encouraging letters and notes that people had missed the podcast and would like to, have Ultimate Swimmer part of their weekly routine. And so thank you so much for that encouragement. That really lifted our spirits, and we're glad to be back in the studio again. But since we last show, December 31st, so much has happened. We finished our Christmas training in San Antonio, and then half the team got Omicron. That was our last wave of COVID. That was exciting. Then we finished our dual meet season at Drury. We had an epic meet in Grand Junction, Colorado for our conference championships, where we broke 29 school records, led by our awesome lady Cheyenne Parks, who was part of 10 of those records. And then our fab freshmen, JT Amron, Victor Rosado, and our super senior, Brandon Heredio. And the whole team was just incredible. It was just full of a bunch of great swims and records. And then we went to the Division II National Champs for the first time. Oh, yeah, before I talk about that, I went and watched my son at SECs, where I got to cheer on Luke, my son. He did great at SECs, did all best times in his 100 fly, 200 fly, 200 IM. And my first time at SECs, that was amazing. I got to train a few lanes over from Katie Ledecky. That was awesome. And then I went and commentated Big 12 in West Virginia. And it's always fun to commentate the Longhorns and all the other great teams in the Big 12. And then we went to NC2As. And you did a great job keeping the guys in shape and Cheyenne in shape while that 4-week interlude between conference NC2As. And then we finally went to our first NC2As, and it was amazing. We did season best times. The men finished 11th. JT, our freshman, won the whole thing in the 200 breast, our first ever national champion and our first ever NC2As. So we produce ultimate swimmers here. We can back up. We practice what we preach. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it was awesome. JT winning was like nice icing on the cake. But even outside of that, because that was the last day of the meet, but even before that, we had a really awesome 3 days, and it was a really good culmination of a bunch of hard work from them. And honestly, they just made us look good. So
yeah, totally. And then that kind of transitioned into our clinic and camps part of the year. April, May, June, July, August. We get to do a lot of camps and clinics, several that we're going to host here at our college here in Oklahoma, Christian, here in Edmond, Oklahoma. But I go on the road with me and my Olympic friends. And Cody Miller, he's joining me for a national tour. It's the Cody Miller, Josh Davis and Friends National Ultimate Swimmer Tour. And we're really excited. Cody and I did our first stop last week in Houston, Texas, and Atlanta. And while in Atlanta, we watched men's NC2As, the last night of Division I men's NC2As. It was incredible. Very exciting. Berkeley outscored Texas, but of course, I love cheering on my Longhorns and seeing all my old friends. So that was exciting. So if you want Cody Miller or me or any of our Olympic friends to come to your town, to your club, just email us, josh@joshdavis.com, josh@joshdavis.com, and we will come to your town. Cody, you can't wait to go. And then I did a big clinic with Lydia, the gold medalist in the breaststroke, Lydia Jacoby. This next weekend, I'm going with Nathan Adrian to Boise, Idaho. And man, it was just a great 3 months, and excited for these next 3 months of camps and clinics. And so it's appropriate that we talk about what we saw the last 3 months that worked, what works and what doesn't work. We were able to observe our own team and our own swimmers, and we were able to go to some other big meets and watch online and watch in person. And you notice at these championship meets what works and what doesn't work. And that's the theme. That's the Monday motivation theme for today, is what works. And Noah, the first thing that sticks out in my head that I'm so proud of our team, they put their shoes on in between the races. It works, and they've scientifically proven it at a study in Europe that you're 3/10 faster when you put your shoes and layers and parka on in between races. And I tell our team all the time, you got pretty feet. I don't want to see them, though. I don't want to see your feet at all during the meet. So that should be another T-shirt. Don't see your feet during the meet. But that's one thing I noticed that works.
yeah, no, it's great. I think that if anyone has heard Josh say, if you've been to one of Josh's camps, you've probably heard him say this before, and definitely our swimmers have heard him say it a lot. But we do talk a lot about preparing yourself before races. But yeah, we don't like to see our swimmers' feet, as Josh said, but it does work though, because if you stay warm, go up to the blocks. We see a lot of people, and our conference is in Colorado, so it's cold, and you want to stay very warm when you go up to the blocks. But there's a lot of kids that just go up to the blocks with just their suit and their cap and their goggles, no towel, no shoes, no jacket, no nothing. But if you stay warm going up to the race, it definitely makes a difference. And our swimmers were pretty perfect at that.
Yeah, so I was proud of them. Some of these concepts, these that we're going to talk about of what works and what doesn't work, kind of overlap, but it's all about being prepared to go fast. And one of my favorite quotes is, "A lot of people have the will to win, but very few have the will to prepare to win." And so you have to plan and you have to prepare. You have to do 100 little decisions throughout the day to keep your body in peak performance. Another one that sticks out that really works is warming down. And our team warm down is 1550s or 750 yards. About 750 yards is the minimum to get all the junk out of your body and get ready for the next race or the next day. And that's the minimum. And so I think all the folks who warmed down properly and who warmed up properly totally set themselves apart. It totally worked this last championship season. And we saw it time after time. Those who warmed up properly had a better race. Those who warmed down and took care of themselves in between races, they recovered better and they performed better. And our own JT Amrine, who's so talented, who's so good, he really, the 4 days of NC2As in North Carolina, he got it. He really embraced the 750 minimum warm down. And each of the 4 days, he got better, culminating the fourth and final day, he won the 200 breaststroke. And I really think a big part of that was him taking care of himself in between races and in between sessions.
No, definitely. And I want to shout out to Brandon, our 200 freestyle guy, Brandon Heredia. He had a 200 free in the morning. He tied for eighth from a guy from McKendree named Ali Reza, and they both went 136.1, which was the best time for Brandon, or 136.2. Then they have a swim off like 20 minutes later. Couldn't have been more than 20 minutes. And so Brandon went right down to warm down. And stayed in the water the whole time. We brought him over some snacks and stuff. And then he ended up getting out-touched. Ali Reza from McKendree had a great swim. But Brandon went 136 again. And to go 136 twice in a matter of a half hour is a pretty big deal. And then he was able to come back at finals that night and went 136 again, won the B final, broke the school record. And so it was a little bit of a bittersweet moment, but it just goes to show that with that consistency, you can swim fast with not a lot of time in between races if you prepare properly.
But in the consolation at night, he went faster than that guy. And he was ready on that third 200. He did really, really well. Yes. And he really embraced our meet warm up and meet warm down. And it paid off for him.
Yeah, and I think
he did this.
I was going to say, I think something I noticed too while we were just there at the meet monitoring and seeing everybody that was in an A final, everybody that won an event was going pretty much straight from their race to probably get a snack or a water and then go right to the warm down pool and start warming down right away. And so it's not really any secret that it works, but it just goes to show that if you want to be really good, you're probably going to need to do that stuff, even if you don't want to. And I'll say that our swimmers despise the 1550 warm down. And Josh, you know that. They try to skip it every single time, but they love it, or they love the results that come with it if they do it right. So I'm glad that JT and Brandon and those guys finally started to get into it a little bit.
Yeah. And obviously, you can make the 750 warm down whatever you want, but we just sometimes make them do 1550s all together and they can just whine and moan together while they knock it out. Yeah. But when you take it to the next level, then you customize that warm down for you. Right. And we have our famous mile warm up, the 5-4-3-2-1 that I got from my Olympic coach, Eddie Reese. Maybe we can put that in the notes, or if you guys want to email us, we can email that to you. It's a great meet warm up. So really get down your routine of warming up and your routines of warming down. That works. Yeah. Another thing that works is keeping up your yardage just right in between conference and NC2As. If you got a double taper within a month, if you got to peak twice within 30 days, it takes a lot of planning and some discipline, and quite frankly, maybe just doing some easy yardage that it's not it's not that hard. It doesn't seem that purposeful, but you kind of got to do it. And you did a great job keeping our 8 folks ready for NC2As. And sometimes you got to do light doubles. Sometimes you got to just do another 20 minutes of swimming and kicking and just, just keeping the heart and blood moving so that you don't run out of gas for that second taper.
Right. Yeah, I think that everybody's really unique when it comes to taper, but for the second taper, we knew that they just had to get right back in the water after our conference meet, and so I think we gave them Monday morning off, maybe after we got back, and then they were back in Monday afternoon, and so the first week I remember it was a little bit of a struggle to have the motivation was a little bit low because they had just had a great conference meet, and then it was like, oh, we got to get back into hard training, and so we had to have a talk with them at the end of that first week, like, guys, NCAA's is coming up still, and we got to stay locked in. And so after that talk, they kind of like, all right, we can muscle through this for 3 more weeks. But it ended up working out really well. And then kind of going into the second taper, even some of them lifted again, came off the lifting, and pretty much not everybody. Everybody swam faster than they did at conference. So it
Yeah.
was a really productive 4 weeks. And that's what's nice about our conference too, is that we have the full 4 weeks. Some conferences only have 2 weeks, which is, it's kind of hard to go up and then back down in that time. But yeah, they did well, and it worked. So I'm just happy that they made us look good.
Another thing that works is cheering and moving around a little bit. When you're sitting on the bleachers, as opposed to what doesn't work is sitting on the bleachers or standing still. If you're just standing barefoot on the deck waiting for an hour for you to get in the warm up or waiting an hour for your race, that doesn't work. What works is when you've got all your layers on, your shoes on, and you go cheer at the pool deck, and then you come back and you do go cheer again, you do some light stretching, and you're kind of moving around and you get in these nice rhythms where you're resting but cheering and resting but stretching and resting and visualizing and then getting to warm up. And so when I was on Team USA for over 10 years, everybody was in those rhythms of cheering for your teammates, knowing what's going on in the pool, and then coming back to stretch, to hydrate, to visualize. And you're never really sitting and you're never really standing. You're either got your feet on the wall, or you're going to cheer by the poolside, or you're going to get a drink, or you're going to the bathroom. There's just these dynamic rhythms that really work at a swim meet. So I noticed that at all the big championship meets of these rhythms of the guys who were winning. They're really not sitting down on the bleachers, and they're really not standing still for very long.
Yeah, I think we saw it a lot at D2, but I was watching the live stream of Division I NCAA's, and Josh, I'm sure you saw it on the last day, but Cal was on fire going into that last night. But it just seemed like watching the stream, like their guys on the side of the pool were just like blowing everyone away, cheering wise. Like they were up and moving around and doing what they had to do, like you said, but they were just so invested in each other, which was really cool to see. And I mean, all the teams are like that, but I felt like Cal, and then especially the Cal alumni in the stands, which makes it even more fun for them, were just going crazy. So.
Yeah. Well, the Longhorns we were representing too, but no, you're right. They came out swinging. They were ready every day. They brought it.
Yeah.
They were ready in the morning. They were cheering hard at night and racing hard. It was a unbelievable effort by Berkeley. And so the cheering and moving works. Another thing that works is really planning out the day and trying to get the timeline just right and building in the nap. So what works is planning out your day so that you have that time face on bed or flat on bed or feet on wall, whatever that time is. Not everybody likes to sleep hard in between prelims and finals. I know you and I, we like to shut down and get a REM cycle in, but and hopefully, it works for a lot of people. But yeah, when you can plan and eat lunch fast, have that food delivered, get the meals in, and then put your feet on the wall and get that nap in, it really works.
Yeah, for sure. I'll shout out our grad assistant, Emma Beth Jensen. She did a great job having our food orders ready for our team at conference. So that was huge. But it is true, though, like having the food ready, and then like some people don't like to sleep, but I always feel like if you can get a 30-minute nap, even, it's really good. And then a lot of our guys at NCAA's, we have these recovery boots where you kind of just put them on like pants, and it just kind of pumps up your leg, and they really enjoyed that. And so but it's kind of a fun thing, but they all knew that it was helping them, feel better for the night session. So whatever you can do to feel better at night is kind of what you want. So they were really invested in the recovery stuff, which was really fun to see, and I think it paid off.
Yeah. So if we get those more compression boots, compression pants, and then we've got the
Yep.
guns, the massage guns, yeah, then we're really going to be set.
For anyone,
Plus the nap.
for anyone that wants kind of a cheap alternative to the recovery boots, you can buy like athletic tights basically at like Marshalls or TJ Maxx for like $20. So if you're just like don't have $500 to spend on recovery boots, you can just get tights, super tight athletic tights at a store and wear those between prelims and finals. It works almost just as well. It's just not as fun.
So these are just some of the many things that we saw the last 3 months that work. And if you can implement these things and they become second nature to you and you're not even thinking about it, they're just part of the 100 decisions you make every day to keep your body and mind in peak performance, you're going to be in a great place and you're going to set yourself apart and you're going to make your team better because people are going to be watching you and you're going to be a great example. So it's just nice to have these habits in place so that you can really enjoy the meet, enjoy the people around you, enjoy those moments. And man, when our guys that did all these things and our girls that did all these things, they had some great moments. It was really a special year. And, I'm really glad we harped on these things and we communicated with them. And that was the final thing. There was good communication. We were typing out the schedule. We had some meetings. We laid out the expectations. We just reiterated every day, this is what we expect of you. This is what we want you to do. This is what we want you to act like. And so communication works. So that's my final thing. Anything left for Noah, that you saw that worked?
I just wanted to just say I had one thing in my notes here, kind of about the communication too. But like us communicating for coaches, communicating with your swimmers is huge. But being able to listen to your swimmers and what they need, especially during like taper time and stuff like that, is huge. So I was just happy that a lot of our swimmers were able to come to us and say, "Hey, you know, like asking, can I lift, one extra lift this week going into a meet, or can we come off lifting early, or can I sleep in this morning or whatever." And so listening to them and seeing what they needed helped us understand, I feel like, what we needed to do as well. Now we don't always let them do what they want, but sometimes it's nice to be able to hear what they think they need, and that way it gives us a better picture of what's going on. So
Yeah. Communication
yeah.
works. So I love
Mhm.
that. So now we're going to transition to the quote of the day. And I found this yesterday. I really liked it. Are you ready,
I'm
Noah?
ready.
The person who loves walking goes further than the person who loves the destination. Did you get
The
that?
person who loves walking, it kind of cut out actually. The person who loves walking, say it again.
The person who loves walking goes further than the person who loves the
There
destination.
you go. I like it.
And so the person who loves swimming, who loves the sport of swimming, who loves the process, who loves the life of a swimmer, who loves smelling like chlorine, they're going to have some great moments. There's some great milestones and some great best times, but they're not. That's just a nice, side result. They just love the process, so their career might go longer.
Right.
They might continue to reach more milestones and more markers and more best times because they're not really worried about each stop, each destination stop. They're just loving swimming. They're just loving the daily process. They're just loving being with their friends and showing up to the pool and seeing how they can get better and how they can make their team better. And I was really blessed where I kept swimming after 21, after 4 years of high school, 4 years of college. I just kept swimming because I just loved it. And I found myself on another USA team and I found myself getting another best time. And then finally, 7 years later, at 28, I broke an American record. And I'm like, how crazy is that? I'm just a regular guy, but who loved swimming, who loved the process, loved the lifestyle. And so I think for those of you out there who genuinely love swimming, you're going to go further than you think.
Yeah.
and you won't have to worry so much about the little destinations and the meets and all the stuff on the way.
Right. I think especially for a lot of young swimmers, people think about the cuts and do I have my quad A time or do I have the juniors cut or whatever. But all that stuff just happens if you just invest your time, you know. And obviously, Josh, I'm not at the level that you were, but even I've kept swimming after college and have been able to go multiple best times in the last few years since I graduated. And so like, and for me, it's just because like I'm not trying to make an Olympic team or anything, but I just like being in the water, and it just naturally happens if you keep working on your craft, you can get a little bit better at it. So yeah, I think that just being able to do something you love is super cool, and it's a great opportunity. And then on the flip side of that, like if you don't love it or you don't know why you should love it or you don't know what you're doing, you should probably think on that as well, because there's the other side of it too, where we see a lot of people who are just doing it for we don't really know why. It just seems like they're kind of miserable in it. So that's the other side of it too.
Yeah, no, good stuff to think about. Especially that's one of the purposes of this Ultimate Swimmer show is to really figure out your why.
Yeah.
When you know your why, the how and the what become kind of easy.
Right.
So that's the quote of the day. The person who loves walking goes further than the person who loves the destination. Yeah, verse of the day. This is a good one. Galatians 5, 32, 22 and 23. Galatians 5. But the fruit of the Spirit, there's 9 of them. Are you ready? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The 9 fruits of the Spirit. So it's important that we manifest more of those fruits this week. That's a great oldie but goodie. Galatians 5, the fruits of the Spirit. It's good for us to know those 9 and practice those 9 and make sure they're coming out in our life. So that's good.
Yeah, I love that.
This day in history. Are you ready, Noah? April 4th, Monday, April 4th. Okay, it's kind of heavy. 1949. No, I'm going to start out with 1968.
All right.
It's a little heavy. MLK died
April 4th.
April 4th, 1968. It was 4 years before I was born. 1968 was a tough year. MLK died. Robert Kennedy died. The Vietnam War was going on. Inflation was crazy high. There was just a lot of issues, and it was very overwhelming. And we came out of it. And so I know right now there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, but I really believe we're going to come out of it. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of sharp people thinking right, but I think we can get out of it. But let's go back a little bit further. 1965, Iron Man was born. Robert Downey Jr., the actor, was born in 1965, and he was obviously the first of the 23 Marvel movies. Iron Man 1. And what a perfect...
I didn't realize he was that old. I guess he is.
Yeah, he's 7 years older than me, so I'm 49, so he's 56. Yeah. But he's an awesome Iron Man. Great actor. Love Marvel. 1960. We're going back a little bit further. One of my favorite movies of all time came out. It's called Ben-Hur. It won multiple Oscars that year, and it's one of the greatest movies of all time. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It comes out, usually comes out every Easter on TV. Ben-Hur. So it's a great movie. Or maybe it comes out at Christmas. I get the two mixed up.
Never seen it.
But because it stars Charlton Heston, and he was in 10 Commandments and Ben-Hur, and they're just unbelievable movies. Have you seen Ben-Hur? Oh my gosh.
I'm my movie knowledge is very limited.
Yeah, it's epic, man. It's classic. It's timeless. You got to watch it.
All right, we'll see. I'll check it out.
Ben-Hur. A guy died in the chariot scene in real life. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Okay, we go back a little bit further now. 1949, this day in history, NATO was formed. If you keep up with current events, you know that NATO has been in the news over in Europe. Noah, do you know what NATO stands for? A little trivia.
Is it North American Trade Organization? Is that what it is?
So
Treaty
close.
Organization?
Yes, treaty.
Yeah, treaty.
North American Treaty. There's 12 countries in the original NATO signing in 1949. Can you name 3 of the 12? Besides USA.
Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. I don't know.
No, it's North. Yeah, close. It's North Atlantic. So there's no South
It's North
American.
American.
It's only the European North Atlantic
No
countries.
idea then. Canada,
Yeah.
Mexico.
But no, there's no Mexico. It's just us and Canada, and then all the rest is the Europe stuff,
Oh,
like Denmark, Belgium, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, and can't even read my writing.
that's bad for me.
Anyway, Portugal,
This is
Portugal.
well, I got
Okay.
a 2 on the AP history exam in the AP.
So, but you knew what NATO was, so that
I
was
told
good.
you.
Also, in closing, it's National Jeep Day. So I drive my old Jeep to practice. You've seen
Of
my old
course.
Jeep. It's National School Librarian Day. Go thank your school librarian. Go check out a book at the library. Keep reading. You guys know that readers are leaders, leaders are readers. So you got to go check in with your librarian today and tell her thanks.
Absolutely.
I actually did an Olympic reading program for 10 years at various schools around Texas, and it was the best because we would hand out gold, silver, and bronze medals to how many books they read over the year.
Oh,
And these kids would read like crazy to get the medals. I would present the medals at the end of the year. And so these kids, to get gold medals, they had to read like 1,000 books.
in a year?
And they read like crazy. The librarian couldn't keep up. Books were flying off the shelf to get their Olympic reading medals.
That's crazy.
That was
I
fun.
feel like not that many kids are checking out books these days from libraries. I feel like that needs to happen more.
No. Well, you can watch them on YouTube. You can watch the book on YouTube, which is pretty
Yeah.
convenient. And then finally, Noah, you're going to like this one. It's National Vitamin C
Oh
Day.
yeah. Love it.
Did you take your vitamin C?
Oh, every day. Got to take my vitamins.
Yeah, I did too. Um, just real quick in closing, the swim news of the week. The Pro Swim Series was going on in my hometown of San Antonio at a great pool that you and I have swam in many times. And it was a cool showing. You know, the big names were there: Caleb Dressel, Katie Ledecky, Michael Andrew, Lily King, Cody Miller. It was fun. I thought they swam pretty good, all things considered. It was kind of a weird part of the season, and stands weren't that full, but I thought they did pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so. I was kind of bummed because I was supposed to go down there and race a couple of races with Victor, but didn't happen. But no, it was fun to watch. Caleb Dressel finally won an event at a pro series. I just saw that headline, like he hadn't won an event since Tokyo. He swam at 3, I think. But Shane, who's now training at Texas, Shane Cassis, was awesome. 156.7 in the 200 IM, fastest time in the world this year. So something that he's doing is
Mm.
working. The magic is working again.
Woo. 2 years till the Olympic trials
Yeah,
in
that's right.
Indianapolis. So we will have our Olympic trials training camp, the Ultimate Swimmer trials training camp in Indianapolis
Yeah.
now. And I heard they might make the format 9 days instead of 8 days. So maybe trials will be 9 days to mimic the Olympic format in Paris. But either way, 8 or 9 days doesn't matter. They're going to put 2 pools and the aqua zone in the football arena.
Crazy.
All of it under one roof, the Lucas Oil Arena. It's going to be unbelievable. I always wanted to have the Olympic trials in a football arena, and they're going to do it. And we're going to be running our camp there. So all the kids that can come watch trials can come stay in shape and train with me and my Olympic friends. And Noah, this will be your first Olympic trials. You've got to
I
go.
will for sure. I have to, especially the venue's crazy. I don't even know how they're going to do it, but it's crazy. Are they going back to just one wave? Or are they still going to do 2 waves of Olympic trials?
Oh, that's a great
Because I
question. There was some benefits to Wave
yeah
One, letting folks really have a shot of swimming again at
right
night in the big Olympic pool. But honestly, I think it depends how much it costs to rent and secure the football field for that amount of
right
time to offer 2 swim meets, Wave One and Wave Two.
yeah
So if it's crazy expensive, I think they should just go for one big Olympic trials.
yeah for sure. Either way, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and maybe just add a bonus heat.
Yeah,
Do 3 heats at night.
why not?
Yeah. So anyway, any other news of the week?
Not to come to mind. I I didn't do a deep dive really, but the Pro Series stuff was fun to watch. Seems like Ledecky's having fun training in Florida, which is cool. And like you said, you got to see her racing or see her training in Knoxville when you were at SECs. So
Oh
she's
yeah.
doing everything right.
Yep. Well, we're so glad to be back and connect with our other ultimate swimmers out there. If you guys ever have any questions or any topics you'd like us to address, or you want us to come to your team, or Cody Miller and all my other Olympic friends, if you want to have them to your team, just email us, josh@joshdavis.com. You can follow us at Ultimate Swimmergram. We post on there sometimes. I've got mine, Josh Davis _USA. We post there sometimes. And however we can be of service, we would love to. And so on behalf of Noah Yanchulis, I'm Josh Davis. We can't wait to have you with us on Thursday. We're going to be dropping another show, another guest Olympian on Thursday. And until then, we'll see you around the pool soon. But keep streamlining and keep smiling. Bye-bye, everybody.